nobody paying attention to y'all. Let me tell y'all how to get some attention, man. Do this challenge for attention.
Hey, welcome to Dirty, Dusty Records. This time around, I have a guest. Say hello to Koreatown Oddity.
What up?
Koreatown here is a rapper. You know what? Why am I intro yourself?
I'm a rapper, producer, humorist, filmmaker, all kinds of, slashes and stuff like that. But we're here to talk about records today.
So today, our episode is going to be specifically about influences. But specifically are the records that influenced us. We're both going to go over several records that basically made us the people we are. Not just musically, but personality-wise. This record here did this for me and made me think this way. And before this record, it was like that Dorsey scene where it was black and white, and then she opened up the door and it was colored. Right. So basically, we're gonna show how we went from black and white to Technicolor. All right. So first record up, Koreatown. Why don't you go ahead and show us what you got?
We got Heavy Guns Industries. Actually, my man Raj G put me onto Rest in Peace. It was like, it's like a comedy, kind of music, skits, and just a bunch of like wild shit on it. And, me and G was listening to it at his crib one day, just smoking weed, and like, he's like, yo, what the fuck is this, yo? He's like, yo, this right here, he's like, show it. And then we like bugging out on it. But then like, we're like in San Francisco one time. And, we're digging over there, whatever. And then he finds it, and he's like, hey, this one right here. He's like, you want it? Yeah, I'm gonna just get two. So then I was like, yeah, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? So he actually was the one who put me onto it.
You know what I like? You do the bass there on
No, yeah. So, yeah. Because I could just hear him like.
I remember him.
And it's like. For that reason alone, it's like, a special record, what I'm saying? And I always like to put people on. There's definitely, like, if you listen to the second Five Chuckles record we did, there's stuff on there you'll hear. And, we just listen to this whole record. And we just like, yo, this shit is wow. You know what I'm saying? He's like, sometimes he won't say nothing. He just looking like, yo.
So next record up is Lou Donaldson Hot Dog on the Blue Note label. And so this record, I bought this in March of 2000.
Wow.
I was a wee lad back then. And so back in the day, and you probably remember this about the LA scene, I was one of those backpack kids that you would see like down in Limerick Park, Thursday nights at Project Load. And I had the cargo pants with nothing really in my pockets, but lots of pockets.
Yeah.
Headphones so big that you could, luckily I have a big nose so you could see that, but like the profile was gone.
Right.
And so around that time I go off to college. I'm living in Las Vegas, going to UNLV. And it's also around the time where like Puffy and Mace were like the kings of the radio. So a lot of radio sample, like hip hop was like very mundane,
Right.
And I'm working in this record store, and like I'm seeing these old records, and I want to know these samples, but I don't have the first clue as to what is what.
Right.
But this one basically had like the Afro test. There's a girl with an afro on the cover, and it looked cool.
Right.
And so it's a record store. You get to play your record when it's your chance. I put it on, and every song on here is a hip hop sample you'd recognize. Punks Jump Up to Get the Beat Down from Brand Nubian. That's on there. There's a De La Soul sample on there. Turtle Walk was used by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Basically, if it was a song that was like a hip hop thing I listened to on cassette between like 93 and 97, it seemed like...
That must have fucked you up when you listened to that.
It was like a secret. Like all of a sudden, like I knew something that people weren't talking about.
Right.
Got another record to show us?
No, for sure. We might as well go here since you just wanted to. We'll go to some more jazz with Eddie Harris. The reason why I'm talking shit, I love this record because it's, mix of some comedy and some music. One whole side is just him talking shit, literally. Like, I look up like reviews and stuff about it. It's like people pretty much thought this album, I guess, was whack, or like, you know what I'm saying? Or they thought like, you know, he just did it, which maybe he did. He was like tired of the industry, and that's why he just, and Atlantic wasn't really like listening to albums, and he just did it just to piss them off. And but it's like, for me, it's like I thought it was pretty ill. Like, you know, even if he had just done that as a concept, just to do it, like, and he's pretty hilarious. It shows that he could have done stand-up. And then it's like, you put that on, like, when you first get it, you're looking at it like, okay, this is gonna be some jazz, and then you don't hear, you just hear him talking. And then the other side is like all jazz again, you know. And it's a great record because I like to be able to play it when I'm out playing records, because he's talking about like, oh, I don't care who's coming on next. They want me to introduce the next performer, you know, who's coming on next. I don't give a fuck about the next performer. And I definitely shouted this record out on one of the 5 Chuckles. But it's like, it's a really random, like, cover, actually, when I think about it. It's like, they're like, yo, you're gonna be in the middle of the street with your saxophone and look like, I guess you have to look like he was talking shit.
Yeah.
You know, is that, you know, you think about Martin. Martin had an album called Talking Shit. So, you know, I'd be curious if he knew about this album. I don't know if he does, but it's kind of like, that would be a cool question.
I mean, last night was an exceptional night. I had about at least 15 people sitting right up under me, getting high in the motherfucker. I mean, I could smell the shit all through the set. By the end of the night, I played about 40 minutes overtime. I was so fucked up myself.
Next record up is Dorsey High School 1974 high school stage music band. And I'm from LA, and we're both from LA.
Yep.
I used to work at Penny Lane Records, a record store that did not sell records. We only sold CDs.
Right.
So someone once came in with this record to sell, and so the guy I was working with, he bought it, and he just thought it was a cool cover. He didn't care too much about it. And I was like, well, if you just care about the cover, let me get that. I'll trade you something for it. And I took it home, and it was funky as can be. Like, if you look at the cover of this record, there's like basically like 48 kids all with like various style afros, and like one white boy, maybe Latino, hanging out in the corner. No one's got a smile on their face. They look really serious about their music.
It's crazy, like, a lot of those covers now, like, if you see anything high school music or something, you like definitely gonna pick it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of mistakes too. There's a lot of records I picked up where it's like, here we have the cantata for the, you know, Tchaikovsky,
right,
something, and don't forget about the like Sugar Plum Fairy medley that we got going on.
Right. I guess it's like kind of, you gotta find out where the high school was at. You know what I'm saying? Because Dorsey's in the hood, so it's definitely finna be banging.
Yeah, this is definitely like homemade as can be. Like, they just took a piece of paper, stickered it on the cover of some basic white sleeve.
I love it.
There's another one of these, another year, 1973, and the really fucked up thing is they used the exact same cover, and they just took the 4 and crossed it off and put a 3 underneath it. Literally
It's the same cover?
But they Xeroxed it with a cross off 4 and put 3.
That's kind of hard, actually.
Yeah,
I've
never seen What you got for your next record?
Let's see. I got Tonto's Expanding Headband. They're just doing so much like crazy, like, you know, some shit is like real chill, and some's like this hype experimentation synthesizer things going on. Malcolm Cecil created this Tonto machine that just everybody was loving, and it's still like it's crazy that it's almost like a living thing, because the way they talk about it, when you look it up, it's like it's in New York somewhere.
Because I've noticed you're into like avant-garde.
Sure.
What's the appeal of the avant-garde to you?
It's crazy because I'm amazed at the freedom to be able to just express music or sound and maybe inspire somebody by what you're doing.
So my next record up is William Odell Hughes with Cruisin'. This record's one that I don't hear too much about. It's there's a label out of Detroit, the Tribe label. They're known for their spiritual jazz. And after the label essentially ran its course, this dude Wendell Harrison, he created his own label called Wenha, Wendell Harrison Wenha. And he released a couple, records on there. He got a lot of the old players from the Detroit scene to make new jazz records. But this record in particular, this record's like 1981, and it kind of has that what's his name? Frankie Smith, like that kind of double Dutch bus coming down.
Right.
It's got like that kind of vibe to
I
it.
like your impression. Everybody want to be like George Clinton, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. This was that, but this was like, I think he was a Detroit guy because all these other dudes were Detroit. So he wasn't flashy. He didn't have like a spaceship, a mothership behind him. He just, to me, it just looks like he's having a bad day.
Right.
And they're like, we gotta take a photo. He's like, take it.
Right.
Take it. And that's that.
Yeah, he's pissed off.
But the music's so happy though. The music's so like chilling, like just.
Black people, we just gotta look hard because just so you don't think that he's probably the cool. Right after they took that picture, they probably had a laugh. You know what I'm saying? But he's like,
farted.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this episode of Dirty Dusty Records. K-Town, thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you for having me. Thank y'all for listening and watching.
And please follow, leave some comments, tell us how much you love this, how much you hated this, how much you decided to go to the bathroom instead of like watching the whole episode. Whatever it is that you did, just let me know because I really appreciate some feedback. I don't do this for a lot of people. I do this for a few people that take the time to watch it. So thank you very much.
You gotta give us some sign language. Take us out with some sign language.
Thank you and bye.
You know what I mean? Like,
is this the album that opens up with the like, I'm beginning to feel a little frosty myself?
yeah, I'm gonna frosty myself. I still wonder what that's from.